everyone, George here, and we are back again working on the Waypoint Manager and the Waypoint system for my implementation of whatever Five Nights at FNAF in VR happens to be. So, looking at our Waypoint Manager again, we were dealing with the fact that we have two different modes. We have an ordered mode and an unordered mode, meaning that you could either travel to any location and unlock them at any order, or you have to go from one to the next to the next. We had already implemented the ordered method. Now we need to go in there and actually deal with the unordered version. So here we do a check in check triggered waypoint, where we pass in the waypoint that we've triggered to see whether or not it's ordered or unordered. So let's do an else statement now, because there's no other mode that I can think of at this point besides ordered and unordered to deal with. So if we haven't, we need to iterate through every single waypoint that we have, see whether or not that waypoint is the same one that's been passed in, and if it is, then we need to somehow check that off as being discovered. So let us think for a second how we want to do this. First, of course, is going to be a for each loop to go over everything. So let's do for each waypoint in waypoints. Now, the fact that it's called waypoint and this is called waypoint is a problem. So let's call this just W in waypoints. And if W is equal to waypoint, then we need to do some sort of crossing off. We need to note that this waypoint has been discovered, and obviously the easiest way to do that is to create some sort of a Boolean, I guess, or we could, inside of the waypoint itself, store something that says whether or not it has been discovered. Since every waypoint will be discovered or not discovered, regardless of whether it's ordered or unordered, I'm going to kind of go towards the stored in the waypoint whether or not it has been discovered at this point. That way, all waypoints have the functionality of being ordered or unordered. It's just whether or not we want to actually use it. So going back over to waypoint class, let's do a bool is discovered, something like that, is equal to false at the beginning. And we will, so that's right now is false. Let's just make, do we want to make this public or private? Can I right click and make accessor methods directly for this? Let's see, quick actions and refactoring. Copy field is discovered and use property and use field. Which one do I want to do? Is discovered, let's make it a property. Okay, so is discovered is now a property. So we'll do if waypoint W is equal to waypoint, and let's see, W has not, W dot and not W dot is discovered, that is, it hasn't been discovered already, then we can do W dot is discovered is equal to true. Okay. That's not triggering anything to happen yet. We're going to have to figure that out as we go along. Right now, we're just storing the fact that that waypoint has been found. And that's something we need to deal with eventually. Now, we should probably maybe put in some sort of a value in here. Waypoint, do I want to call this discovered or found? Let's right click on this, rename that, and do is found. That's just shorter. Apply and call this is found. Just getting picky. Don't worry about me. Just doing dumb things that I shouldn't have to do. Okay, so now I want to do, let's see, bool all waypoints found. And this is probably going to become an event in the future. But for right now, I'm just going to make a Boolean value, and that's false. Just so I have something at the moment that gets flipped on when everything has actually been discovered. So we're going to want to, under check triggered waypoints, correct waypoint reach, increment waypoint. In increment waypoint, we're going to check to see whether or not everything has been found. So if current equals, you have completed all waypoints. Therefore, waypoints found is equal to true. Now, in the case of this statement, where we have all the different waypoints, we need a method that iterates through there and sees whether or not everything in there is equal to true. So void check if all waypoints found. And we're going to do for each, just like before, waypoint in waypoints. And what we want to, actually, we don't want a bool, we want a void. We want bool, not void, is what I'm trying to say here. If waypoint dot is found, if it's not found, then return false. However, if we iterate through all of those and every single one of those is found, we're going to return true. That's easy enough. Okay, so now we can take this method, check if waypoint's found, and go into this loop right here. And after this loop is finished, we will do a check to see whether or not they're all there. So check if waypoint's found. Actually, no, I'm trying to think. Do we need this to return a Boolean value? I mean, technically, if you get to the end of it, really, all we need to do is this. For each, and the return. We'll leave it like this. We're just going to disregard the value. We're going to do a, what was the stupid thing called? All waypoints found is equal to true if we get to the end of it. So there we go. We got a method that does that. And that's fine. That's okay. We can put a debug statement in here if we want to for right now, so we can check things. All unordered waypoints found. Found all ordered waypoints. So there's the differentiation between those two right there. So now we have the check, regardless of what mode we're in, that will go through, and let's get rid of the update method. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here, but now we have a way of handling both, this is called I found. I want this to be is found. Jeez Louise, what was I thinking? There we go, that's better. Okay, now if we move around the level, and we got to put a waypoint manager in there first. So let's go in here, and we have the waypoints folder of waypoints. I'm going to go ahead and add the waypoint manager to that rather than creating a separate object. Just kind of makes sense to do that. Technically, since I do this, I could iterate over all the children and grab them if this was an unordered mode. But if it's ordered mode, you're going to need to manually specify what the order should be. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 of these things. So let's go in here. Come on. Hit 5 and figure out what the order of waypoints should be. So that's the first one. So let's do that first. Whoops. Let's lock this and do, that's waypoint 1. It's waypoint 2. Waypoint 3. Waypoint 4 and waypoint. So it's basically the opposite of what I actually laid out. Okay. So that's good. So we've got a ordered pair of waypoints for us to discover as we move around the actual level. So let's go ahead and run this and see if we can get some output that matches what I'm expecting, which is hopefully we're going to go through each of these waypoints and find something that happens. Now let me just check to make sure I have something that outputs when I actually get into the waypoint. Correct waypoint reached, wrong waypoint reached. Otherwise, I don't have anything here, so I should probably do a, let's see, if waypoint is, let's do a debug.log unordered waypoint found. Great. Okay, it's probably about time for us to jump into VR. And let me see, I don't have Steam VR open right now. I hate this HTC crap. Let's get rid of that really quick. That's good. And that's all good. Let's clear out right there. And let's grab the headset. I am now using an HTC Vive Pro instead of a normal Vive. And I gotta say, you know, don't buy it if you already have a Vive, but definitely buy it if you don't. It's definitely better than the old one. I know the price difference might shock you a bit, but you might as well go with it if you don't have one. So let's go ahead and hit run. Where are my controllers? Where are my controllers? There they are. Let's grab both controllers, turn them on. Uh-oh, are they dead? No, good. Okay, there we are. We got our lighthouses. Let's drag this over so you can see what's going on here. We've got our lighthouses over here. It says game over. That's probably because we don't have anything in here to stipulate that it's on or off. We are inside of our level, and I can move. So let's move over. There we go. Okay, check that out. So the first one disappeared. Here's the next one. Click it. Oh, check that out. Second one appeared. And we go to this one. We found it. There's the next one. Great. And the final one is over here. Let's go to it. And, okay, it didn't disappear. But, I gotta take this thing off my face. Jesus. Come on. Okay. All right, there we go. So, oh boy, what happened here? Missing power, yes. Correct waypoint reached, correct waypoint reached, correct waypoint reach, correct waypoint reach, correct. Found all ordered waypoints, correct waypoint reach, found all ordered waypoints. So it didn't deal with the last waypoint properly. That's what we got to fix. But otherwise, that was a complete success for dealing with an ordered list of array points, finding them and moving over them. So let's now fix this problem where the last waypoint isn't being addressed. So what we need to look at is the increment waypoint script. That is probably what's messing everything up. So going down to increment waypoint, we check to see whether or not we're on the length of it -1. In which case we say we found all the waypoints. But what we don't do is we don't deactivate that waypoint at that time. So we need to grab waypoints dot blah 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 blah, set current, and turn that on right there. And that's going to actually fix that entire problem. So we can move on to something else now. That is, we should probably test to see whether or not the unordered method of finding waypoints actually works. Let's clear our console, go to ordered, check unordered instead, save it, let's hit run, and grab our VR headset. Ugh, come on. Plop it on our head. I gotta remember to fix that game over crap so that it doesn't show up when it doesn't find everything. Okay, so I'll flip my hands around. So here's one of them. Let me see if I can get around it. Oh, there's no colliders in the level, so I can do whatever I want. So that didn't work. But did it actually hit anything? So let me see. It said missing power, unordered waypoint found. But I'm not turning them off because I failed to put that in the code. So let's jump back in and go to check if waypoint's found. So if waypoint is found, do this. Waypoint's found is equal to true. If waypoint W and if debug waypoint found. I need to do geez. Would this be, this is probably going to be better if I do it through, let's see. w.gameObject.setActive false. There we go. Now that'll turn that object off. Let's try this again now. In some ways, the Vive Pro is easier to put on if you remember the right way to... Okay, that one disappeared. I'm going to skip that one. Go to this one over here. That one disappeared. Am I jumping on top of these things? There's the next one. Looks like I am. I got to check to make sure. They're triggers. They shouldn't be popping. Where am I going? There we go. We're going backwards here. There we are. And let's go to the last one. I lost my hand. There's back again. I have a really bad tracking setup. There we go. Okay. That should be all of them. Let's take a look. And ordered, found, ordered, all unordered waypoints found. Waypoints found. Great. So we're good. So that's the waypoint system that's now done. So we can pretty much cross out all of this part of it. Whoops. Another thing we need to work on, which we won't start in this video, is the descriptions on the tablet for each waypoint. And that'll probably end up being another class. But we do need to still look at things like staying alive for X minutes and acquiring items. And that's what we're going to take a look at probably in the next video. So long, everyone. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.